Mozambique is also affected by the COVID-19. Until yesterday, we tested positive for 433 people that have been affected by the COVID in Mozambique. From this number, 2 lost their life already, and 131 that have been recovered. The Mozambican government is doing all what they can to save the life. They are putting strategies to tracing all the people that they have been in contact with, those ones that have been affected already or positive, and they're doing all what they can. This number also includes the people from frontline, like the nurses and some doctors already. There is 2 ways how they are doing it. Like I just mentioned, the first one is to trace all the people that have been in contact of people that they are positive, or maybe they have been suspected. And the number 2, they are putting the people on the quarantine. The people, especially those ones are coming from outside, especially Mozambique. And I think, as you know, Mozambique declared the state of emergency. So we are in the 2nd month of the state of the emergency, which means that there is no international flight allowed to come to the country at the moment. But the Mozambicans that are living abroad, especially in the neighboring country, they're allowed to come, and the residents also they're allowed to come, but there is no international flight allowed to come. So this is what is being done, like the quarantine and tracing people and treating those ones that have been affected. And in the hospital up to now, we have very few people there, because we are really trying to tell the people to stay at home and having the treatment, better treatment from their houses. Mozambique at the beginning, because we have very deep and close relationship with China, and this relationship is really not only for cooperation but the friendship. There is a deep friendship between the 2 countries, 2 people, and it's coming from long time ago. So which means when we heard that China was facing this challenge, our president was one of the first one who sent the message of condolence to the people and the government of China through the President Xi Jinping. And also there was a lot of solidarity, not only from like people, our students living here in China. They were like sending a message of giving strength to the Chinese people and showing that we are together, we should fight together this pandemic. And now that Mozambique is being affected as well, China also is not sitting and watching. They are doing something which they are giving some assistance through a video conference with our doctor to change the experience, and also they are giving some donation through the mask and other kind of things that can help our government to fight this pandemic. Indeed, our country is going through a lot of, I would say, hardship. Not only the Idai, for the last years we are being facing droughts, floods, and this Idai was another natural disaster that came on top of what we have been facing. And we think that the climate change must be one of those factors that is making that the country is prone to these disasters lately. So you can imagine that the country is facing with all these challenges, and now with the COVID. So the impact is going to lower the standard of living of our people for sure. And in terms of the poverty also is going to create more problem, because now with the COVID, the people, they cannot go out there and produce. They're staying at home and doing nothing, and which is going to create a problem in terms of the food security for our people after we come out of this pandemic. That's for sure. That's for sure. The government is trying to do their best to mobilize the few that they can still go and produce the food, but also the government has to be cautious about the impact of the COVID, that the people, they cannot go out there in large number of people. This project is really very positive in terms of the impact in two ways, because now we have the Chinese experts that normally they work in this center. They are transmitting their knowledge to our people on how to improve the seed and how to improve the method of agriculture for this food security. So it is very positive, and it has impact in terms of the agriculture system in our country, because of the training and also to spread the good practice. And at the same time, we have a project there for agriculture, that we have a project from CAD Fund in province of Gaza, which is called the Wambao. So this project also is very good for the rice production, which means that we think that apart from the government of China giving the assistance, also I wanted to invite the private sector of China to go to Mozambique to invest in agriculture, because Mozambique has got all the potential for the agriculture to do well if you have all the technology and the funds to do so. We have a lot of land, arable land, and very fertile land with the water from the rivers. So I wanted to invite the private sector to invest in agriculture, apart from the side of the government in terms of this institute, and apart from the other way that the government of China is doing in Mozambique. So which means that there's a need for combined action from the government and all stakeholders in this direction for agriculture, in terms of the food security, and also not for security, also for the export. Our relationship is very good, and Mozambique and China, they start having the relationship at the time when Mozambique was struggling for the independence. This month is a very special month. We are going to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the independence of Mozambique, and China contributed very positively for this independence, because they were there helping the liberation movement for the Mozambique to become independent. So we are going to celebrate the 45. So you can see how long we have been together, and at the same time you can see this coincides with the celebration of the anniversary of the diplomatic relationship between Mozambique and China. So China was one of the first country to recognize Mozambique as independent and established diplomatic relations with Mozambique. So our relationship is very deep and rooted from the long time, and it's very positive, because if you look at what we have done so far in terms of the cooperation is huge, and you can see the result of this relationship in the concrete buildings, roads, and things that are happening for the betterment of the people of Mozambique. At the same time, for the betterment of the living of the Chinese, because the Chinese, they can do the business in Mozambique through this relationship. So I foresee the future that is bright, because we have experience, and from what was a positive from this experience, we have to consolidate, and also we have to expand more, and we need to strengthen the relationship people to people, because for the acknowledgement of the two sides in terms of cultural relationship, and the youth, because the youth also is the legacy of this relationship to grow further. And also for the private sector, I'll see the association, our private sector and the Chinese private sector, they should make the partnership and to see what they can do together for their business, in terms of the business. So I foresee that there's a lot that can be done, because there's a two principle that is there: trust. There is trust between the two countries, and also there is a commitment between the two countries, and there is a friendship between the two countries. So from all these principles, we can do more and further.